To move our focus towards Bangladesh and what has been transpiring in the Indian subcontinent. Democracy seems to be completely stifled under the interim government in Bangladesh that's headed by Mohammed Yunus. Remember, he was in Japan just a few days ago. Even as pressure is growing on him internally, accountability needs to be fixed. Mohammed Yunus seems to be shying away from it. But here's what has transpired meanwhile. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal has indicted former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and two others on several charges, including mass murder for their alleged role in the violent crackdown on student-led protests last year. The same protests that prompted the ouster of Sheikh Hasina that ended her 15-year regime. A Prime Minister under whom democracy had thrived has now been indicted. Now, contrast that to a radical party, the Jamaat-e-Islami, which was banned last year in the wake of protests, has now been legalized. They could be contesting elections as well if it were to be left to the chief advisor of the interim government, Mohammed Yunus. Bangladesh's new banknotes, meanwhile, have replaced the portrait of the nation's founding father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Images of Hindu and Buddhist temples now are in place on those notes. Natural landscape, traditional landmarks of Bangladesh are all a part of that, but the founding father is missing. It's like for you and me in India, our currency notes not having Mahatma Gandhi on it. Bangladesh is undermining its liberation movement of the 1971, the bloody movement that eventually led to the independence of Bangladesh. It has gone to list radical Jamaat as a political party once again. And when elections are held, if it were to be Mohammed Yunus's decision, perhaps next year, then Jamaat-e-Islami, a radical party known for its terror links, known for pushing radicalism, extremism into India as well, they could be given a platform, made a stakeholder in the entire political process as well. In another move, the Yunus-led government has throttled freedom of speech. They've shut down the website of Awami League, has allowed Jamaat-e-Islami, which allegedly colludes with terror groups, like I said, have a free run in Bangladesh. So what exactly is transpiring in Bangladesh? Is Mohammed Yunus, who is under pressure from political parties, from the army chief there, is he taking Bangladesh down with him? That's a question many are asking. In fact, we have some news now coming in from Bangladesh on this. The head of the interim government, Mohammed Yunus, in fact, has held a key meeting with several political parties. At least 20 political parties were in attendance, is what we're now learning. Most of these parties have told Mohammed Yunus that they want elections soon. They want it by the end of this year. Kamalika, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Kamalika, up until now, it was only the army chief and the BNP, the major political party, that wanted elections by December. Yunus, in fact, had made a comment last week as well, saying that there are only political motives of one party that wants elections. But now it looks like other stakeholders want the same too.
Yeah, that is very interesting, and that is what the latest development that is coming from Bangladesh right now, because right now there has been, in today's entire day, there has been a meeting which the Yunus took the meeting with more than 20 political parties. It was regarding the July proclamation, that means reforms and whatever they are doing in their government. And along with that, definitely election came into the picture, because most of the political party, what our sources tells us, most of the political parties, they have also given an ultimatum to Yunus that come what may, December, they should come up with a date. And that should be at the earliest, that should be at the December. Till now, Jamaat was also in that there will be reforms and then there will be election. But today, what we came to know, that even Jamaat has said that the election will be at the earliest. BNP, the front runner in this, has stressed that the election, come what may, by December, he has to declare the date. Only the National Citizen Party, the NCP party, which is like Nahid Islam is the leader, they are saying that reform first, but apart from them, most of the parties, that's what our sources are saying, that they have demanded election by December. Now, definitely clear that the pressure is mounting on Yunus, number one. Number two, Jamaat, like we know, there has a change in the note of Bangladesh, the rupee, the note currency, and Mujib's photo has been removed and Buddhist temple photo has been incorporated. What we are coming to know, that Jamaat will raise this issue, that why Buddhist temple, why masjid has been removed. That's what they are saying, that tomorrow also this meeting will continue. That's what we are getting. So situation remains to be volatile in Bangladesh.
Now, these reforms, Kamalika, that Mohammed Yunus or his alliance partners in this particular case, somebody who has been wanting him to stay on the NCP, like you was pointing out, What are these reforms that they're talking about? Is there a timeline? Is there something specific? Is there a plan that they have in place?
That is only not clear. What does they mean reform? Reform means whatever system that was there placed by Sheikh Hasina, they want to remove all those systems. In the name of women development, there is a commission. But what we are coming to know from the sources, whatever suggestions that has been given by that women commission, all of those suggestions are not being taken. Rather, those women commission people who actually came up, women who came up with such suggestions, they have been threatened. So Bangladesh, in one sense, in a section of Bangladesh, is fundamentalist, and they are, taking over the seat. Number two, the reforms was also that entire revamp of the election commission, entire revamp of the election structure. So also they want to change the constitution at times. That has also been there. They are saying that there is a revolution in July, according to them, and they want to build up a new Bangladesh. So how long this reform will take place, that apart from Mohammed Yunus, nobody knows. But the party which is there, like BNP, also Jamaat, they want a time frame. Why Yunus is not giving a time frame is a big question.
Right, Komalika, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Pressure is definitely mounting, and now that 20 political parties, 20 stakeholders in democracy being upheld in Bangladesh is concerned, all of them are mounting pressure on Mohammed Yunus, on the interim government, to hold elections by the end of this year. It's a tight 6-month deadline. Let's open this up. Tara Karta, former director of NSCS, joins us. Senior journalist from Bangladesh, Zaigum Azam, will be joining us as well. But Tara Karta, let me ask you, the kind of pressure that we're seeing coming in for Mohammed Yunus, it was the army chief first in the BNP. He tried to push that away, saying it's just from certain quarters. But now we know that all political parties want elections to be held by December, not by next year as he was promising. Do you think he's just trying to buy time by making this pitch about, oh no, let's have reforms first before we have elections?
I mean, obviously, that's been pretty clear for some time that he has no desire to quit his post. And the fact that, even last month, he had held up a meeting, and the same, when he was under pressure from the army, he held a meeting with all these parties. This was late, a week, 10 days before. And the same message went out. This was before the Jamaat-e-Islami was still saying no elections. Now, of course, they've changed their stance because they've been recognized almost as a party, so they've changed. Everybody is saying, please hold elections. His reforms are, like we said, the NCP, which is the student party, obviously has no standing outside of urban areas. So they don't want elections now. So when he says constitutional reforms, under what authority? It's unbelievable. You can't have a constitution change without a democratic system in place. Then you talk about it. You have a parliamentary committee and then you change a constitution. Not like this. So obviously he's desperate to stay on.
And these reforms that he keeps talking of, there is no timeline, there is no plan, there is no vision of what it could look like. At that time, we are seeing the kind of decisions that are being taken. One, to ban the website of the Awami League, to try and take them out of the electoral process, give a free hand to organizations like the Jamaat-e-Islami. That's something that should be worrying India. How should India be looking at this?
No, what is more worrying is the economy is sliding. It's in free fall. They had there was a bunch of industrialists who got together and said, look, we can't sustain ourselves. Industry is failing, power situation is failing, unemployment rate is at a historic high. This is what you have in a neighbor. The Jamaat-e-Islami so far in the last couple of months has not been actively anti-India. To give it its due. It has also been very supportive of the army. So one can only hope that they could reform themselves in multiple ways. But that is, like I said, that is for the people to decide as and when there's an election. And winning an election is not so easy. And the Jamaat-e-Islami has not been very good at winning elections. So let's see how it goes.
But elections or not, politically, whether they manage to make a dent or not, but now that they have this kind of patronage or a free run, so to say, what's going to stop them to try and foment trouble across the border? That's perhaps the worry, given how porous our borders are, given the history that India has with Pakistan as far as pushing extremism into our territory is concerned.
Oh, that is a Pakistan ploy. I mean, the Pakistan embassy, I mean, until the ambassador was recently, well, asked to go home on very embarrassing grounds. So the rest of it, Pakistan embassy is in full flow. Their links with the Jamaat-e-Islami, low excellence has been extremely well established. But this whole talk of, Northeast states, which Yunus is doing, he's like playing everybody. He's playing Pakistan, right, by saying that we should have this whole northeast and everything. He's playing China, he's playing so he's playing just about everybody, and in the process this is what he's brought his country to, with absolutely its economy in such terrible shape. So Bangladeshis have a right to elect who they want, and that is what they're asking.
Absolutely. Right now, we have a leader with absolutely no absolute freedom, no accountability, and he wants it to stay that way for however long he can manage to keep that. Tarakata, do stay on with us. Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhary, a journalist from Bangladesh, is with us. Senior journalist Jaigom Azam is also with us. Mr. Azam, let me ask you, is Mohammed Yunus trying to stay on for as long as he can, even if that comes at the cost of the country and its people as a whole? Because many would say he's sinking and he's taking Bangladesh now. Mr. Azam?
Yeah. As far as I think that he is still not planning to give any election, because all the political parties are asking for election, but he is not planning to give any dates. The major political parties have always demanding that he should be giving the election by December, but Professor Yunus is yet to decide whether he can go for the election by December. Probably he's having some allies who is working with him and who is also forming the NCP, who is also forming a political party. So that is the major reason probably he's not announcing any election date.
So then what happens next? For how long do the political parties and the people of Bangladesh wait for an election, wait for democracy to finally take place?
I think that people are right now getting impatient, because you are seeing if you've seen the latest political development in Bangladesh, then you will see that people are now asking when will the election, in a more firm voice. Because earlier it was that I'm trying to reform Bangladesh and all those things are happening. But of late, this is not going to the people. I mean that a few reforms that he tried to establish did not go well with the people of Bangladesh. Like I can say that he had that port. He wanted to leave the port to the foreigners, Chiral port. All those things, these are not going well with the people. So they are now getting impatient. I think that by December there will be a real voice raised against him by BNP, the major political party, for an election, so that he has to get the election.
And Mr. Chaudhary, if there is no giving in as far as Mohammed Yunus is concerned, will the army then take over? Is there a military coup in the offing in Bangladesh?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to tell that Yunus is playing the ISI playbook. He is trying to destroy the democracy and democratic institutions in this country. He's not going to hold election even in next 10 years, because, as I said, he's just following the Pakistani ISI's playbook. Now, as you asked that if there is a possibility of a military coup, I'd say no, there is no possibility of a military coup, because Yunus is not a government. Yunus is an illegal regime. So to remove this illegal regime, which is conspiring against the sovereignty of Bangladesh, independence of Bangladesh, and which is also conspiring against Bangladesh's good neighbor, India. So I think there will be a military action against Yunus very soon. As you know, that from the 7th of this month, we are going to have a high holiday for Eid. And immediately after the Eid, there is going to be a military action against Yunus, because there is no other option left with General Waqar-e-Zaman, the army chief of Bangladesh, other than removing Yunus. And for your very kind information, Yunus is a foreign passport holder, he's a foreign mercenary, and 14 advisors in his so-called regime are all foreign passport holders. Even Yunus appointed an American citizen as the national security advisor of Bangladesh, which is absolutely illegal. He is trying to give corridor to Arakan army, and he is trying to lease out our Chittagong port to American companies. He is trying to sell St. Martin Island. Actually, Yunus is trying to sell Bangladesh as a whole and turn this country into the launchpad of transnational proxy war. So for Bangladesh army, the only option left now for to take military action, not coup, and remove Yunus and arrest them, and arrest Yunus and his cronies, all foreign mercenaries, and take due course of action in the military court against them. This is the only option left for.
But would that not perhaps prompt another crisis in Bangladesh? Would that not lead to another phase of uncertainty, perhaps? Is that a worry?
Not at all. Because Yunus is the crisis. Yunus is the problem. And as long as he stays, it will create more and more and more and more problems for Bangladesh. Now, for your kind information, my army, Bangladesh Armed Forces, they are talking about democracy, restoring democracy, and Yunus is talking about killing democracy. So this is the army taking action against the anti-democratic element, a monster, a foreign mercenary. So I don't see any problems. And again, if you're talking about, or if you're indicating that America can take some action, we don't care about America at all, because in the global south now India is strong country. China will be also joining India. Russia has already joined. So we don't care what America does. America is a country run by Trump, and Trump, he doesn't know what he's doing. So America is glory lost. It's the country itself does not know its destination. We don't care what America does at all.
Tarakarta, do you find it interesting, this America's role and the mention of America? When we had the protests against Sheikh Hasina and the ouster, we had questions being raised about an American link. At that time, there was another dispensation. Now we have another dispensation in the United States. But it seems like the allegation is the same.
Well, in actual fact, American, what shall I say, quiet policies don't change very much under whichever president. Certain objectives continue. And I very much fear that Bangladesh is being drawn into a new Cold War. The Cold War area shifted from Russia to this side. So that is dangerous for Bangladesh. But all the same, I would rather have the Americans there rather than the Chinese, right? I mean, that is a basic fact. But I would, if I can just respond to what the gentleman said, I mean, they are lucky they have such a mature army chief. The army chief has been the one stable force in Bangladesh. So, and I think since all three of them have gone to Hajj, I think the army chief, Navy, Air Force, they've all gone. So I don't see there's anything immediately that's going to happen in the near future. But they are a stabilizing force, and one hopes that they can get things in order. I entirely agree that Yunus and his foreign cronies, foreign passport holders, in fact, there's a bunch of them who have no idea what they're doing. I mean, give it over to established political parties, the BNP, even the Jamaat-e-Islami at least is a political party. If it has some kind of, organization, even that is better than what this man is doing.
And that is what he was supposed to do. He seems to have forgotten that he is the head of an interim government, that his position there was supposed to be temporary. It's been almost a year now, at least 10 months, that he's been there and in no hurry to leave. But we really hope that he gets the message, the pressure mounts on him to finally make way and for democracy to thrive. I thank you all for joining us here on The Right Stand and sharing your perspective.